I'm Laranya, and I have a really cool question to ask everybody. Do you guys know your ABCs?
Someone?
The first 6 are engraved into my brain, not because of the fun alphabet song, but because of all the nights I've spent staring at my grades, calculating how many points I could lose before I stopped being good. A, B, C, D, E, and F, not G. Those are the most significant letters of the alphabet to high schoolers, or any kind of student like me. You may ask, why? Well, it's because those letters define all the quizzes we've taken, all the essays we've written, and all the labs we've tested out. On paper, they're just grades. But in reality, they represent all the lost sleep, all the tears shed after an unexpectedly brutal, unretakeable test, and all the time lost from family, friends, and hobbies. And when a system reduces people into letters, something important gets lost. The humans living inside of it. And this matters because school isn't just where kids learn math, science, and grammar. It's where their stories are shaped, their confidence, their self-worth, and how they view their intelligence. Are they in that perfect range of 6 letters? Are they high up with the A's, or are they down low with the F's or D's? Not everyone understands how heavy this pressure can be, especially when you live in this kind of system for so long. You don't just learn facts. You learn to absorb a story that tells you how you're allowed to be. So since not everyone takes this seriously and not everyone understands, let's look at it through our researcher's perspective. Denise Pope from Stanford graduate that every student is carrying, whether we admit it or not. And that kind of pressure still weighs on everybody in every grade. And stress, it doesn't just leave when the bell rings. It follows you home, it follows you to bed. Whether you're an adult or a kid, stress plagues our dreams. So let's backtrack to teenagers. Johns Hopkins pediatrician Marco Crocetti says that teenagers need around 9 and 9.5 hours of sleep each night. But 7 out of 10 high schoolers get nowhere near this amount of time on school. What a coincidence. I wake up every weekday with my eyes half open and my shoulders slumped. Most of us wake up at around 6:30 a.m. to drag ourselves to a place where we sit at a desk for hours. I'm sure that's familiar with some adults. But we also learn to feel something as simple as multiple choice questions. We carry yesterday's exhaustion into today's classes. But we're kids, not zombies. But since the day I left elementary school, more mature and get ready. Do you guys notice what's missing? No one pauses to just say that you're still a kid. There is always another mountain, and we climb it so fast that we forget ourselves on the way. And that made me curious to whether adults still lose themselves on their continuing mountains the way their past selves could, the way we do. So, I surveyed over 11 teachers here at Walter Johnson High School, who are all adults, about how they feel during the school year specifically. And all of them said they loved the job. They talked about how much they enjoy helping kids learn and grow up and turn into adults like themselves. But one answer really stayed with me. When asked what they love the most about their passion, about their purpose, teaching, One teacher answered, getting to be himself. If school is where an adult gets to be himself, do the students that attend there, that stay and spend their time there, that study, that learn, do they feel the same way? According to New Qualtrics research, only 32% of high school students in the U.S. feel that they can be themselves at school. And that's a little. But if I spend 6 hours a day in a place where I don't feel like I can be myself, who am I even becoming? School shapes our stories whether we like it or not. It shapes the way we think, the way we speak, and the way that we view ourselves. And possibly my spine into an arch from slashing over a phone book for days on end. But school isn't evil. It's a privilege. It prepares us for the world. But if students can be shaped, schools can be shaped in return. So how can they be shaped? Well, they can push back their morning times so that students catch up on sleep. Or they can do the opposite and cut off their afternoon hours so students can leave early from sports, classes, and clubs, so they can catch up on homework and study, and maybe even take a nap. There's the other possibility of block A and block B schedules. Schools like Reservoir High School and Fulton MG use this kind of schedule. It means fewer classes per day, but longer duration, so teachers can go in more depth into the material, and students can absorb more of it. So, these changes already exist, meaning the story doesn't have to stay the same. But in a broader perspective, real change can't begin with a schedule. It begins with noticing. Noticing that everyone in this system is human. Students are human. Teachers are human. Bus drivers are human. Custodians, counselors, security guards, you sitting here are human. Yet we pass each other in the world, in the same place, 5 days a week without really seeing each other. So, I'm not asking you to fix the entire education system. I'm asking you to do something that we can all do anywhere, in any minute. Notice. Notice that everyone around you still has emotions, still has their own sleepiness and fatigue. For example, a teacher noticing an overexhausted student. They pause their lesson, they walk over to them and ask them if they're doing okay, if they needed extended time on an assignment, if they need any private tutoring for just them, one-on-one. Or the other way around, a student respecting an overwhelmed teacher whose voice is being drowned out by other classmates. They sit there and they watch. They hold eye contact with them. They see them for who they are. There's a silent message that passes between them. I'm here for you, and I'm here to teach you. Or parents stopping by to thank the bus driver for taking their kids safely to school every day. Or maybe it's the student that thanks them, saying thank you as they walk down the stairs. And even more in depth, a student checking in on another student who looks like they're carrying the weight of their world in their backpack full of binders. So, ultimately, change doesn't begin with a policy. It begins when we realize that we're not just characters in our stories, we're the authors. So beyond this TEDx presentation, beyond these school walls and into the real world, look around with your heads up and start seeing the humans whose stories are being shaped right beside yours. Because the stories we notice are the ones who have the power to change. Thank you.